Well, every day starts and ends with my phone. When I'm falling asleep, I'm usually texting or checking Instagram the whole time, and then I fall asleep doing that, and then I set an alarm on my phone, so I wake up and I check my phone after shutting off the alarm. I'll go on Facebook, I'll check my Snapchats, I'll check Instagram, and then I'll text my mom, I'll text my soccer team, I'll probably just text a random person just to get a notification on my phone. Then I'll walk to class. I'll usually be on my phone the whole time. Sadly, in classes, if I hate it that much, I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty much on my phone the whole time. I definitely rely on my phone to get around places. Even driving to Bethel, it took me about 4 months to actually figure out how to drive here without using my phone. Once my phone died when I was driving back late at night, and I literally took an hour and a half to get home because I kept driving in circles and ended up right back where I started, and ended up being in Anoka for a little bit, and I was trying to get to Mahtomedi, so I need my phone a lot.
I use my phone for many different things. One of my favorite things to use it for is to keep track of the news. I'll oftentimes look at various news websites throughout the day and get caught up on what's going on in the world. I'll also use my phone for keeping track of my stocks. I like to know how the markets are doing. Another big thing that I use my phone for is my reminders. If I have an assignment that's due, I'll just say, "Hey Siri, remind me to do this assignment at this time on that day." And without a doubt, she'll remind me every single time. If I didn't have my phone, I would forget so many things and so many different assignments. It kind of boggles my mind how people used to survive without cell phones like this. I mean, like, it's crazy to think that my parents and stuff used to drive around all over the place without phones. Now, I kind of lack some common sense, so it especially helps me to have a phone to get around. I rely on a lot, but it's crazy that my parents and stuff survived without, like, the safety aspect of cell phones and just kind of being able to stay in contact with your friends who are far away. I mean, they used to have to write letters and stuff like that, which I don't think I could do that anymore.
My phone is definitely a everyday usage type of thing. It's my alarm. I rely on it to wake up. If my phone dies, I'll sleep through my alarm. I wake up to notifications that I've been missing the past 8 hours or so that I was asleep, such as Instagram, Twitter, text messages, Facebook, whose birthday it is, all that good stuff. And my phone's a good way to keep in contact with some friends that I have, family. Well, I use my phone as a great way to keep in contact with sports, professional sports, something I'm pretty passionate about, whether it's following and all the analysts that they have to keep updated on drafts, trades, scores, standings, all that stuff. Well, actually, last year I did a program out in the mountains in California where there was no cell phone service, so I essentially went without a phone for just about a year. And while that sounds pretty awful, it was actually a pretty great experience. Instead of sitting in a circle on our phones, we would be out doing stuff. We'd be sitting engaging in conversations. We would never really just be sitting around doing nothing. We always had to think of something to do. And it really helped grow on relationships, deepen them. Talk about things sometimes you don't always talk about, and just really like help us grow with each other. And I'm really thankful for that year and what I was able to accomplish. And now it's great to have my phone to be able to stay in contact with them and keep in touch.
When I was a kid, there was no such thing as a cell phone. We had party lines actually, which was not really too much of a party since people could pick up the phone and listen in on your private conversation. Wasn't a good thing. Eventually they did become more private, but the phone was attached to the wall, not like today where you can pick it up and leave with it. We had 6 girls in my family, and we had one phone, and it was attached to the wall. We also had one bathroom and 3 boys. I don't think those boys ever got in the bathroom, and I don't think they ever got to use the phone. Oh well. So anyway, the 6 girls, we talked on the phone a lot, but my mom had bought a very long cord, which was very nice because you could go upstairs, wrap it around the stairs, sneak into a room until she decided to reel you in and see who was at the other end of the phone. Another thing with phones back then is you had to actually pick it up and say hello to figure out who was calling. There was no such thing as caller ID. You know, it was always a guess as to who was calling. I've also noticed today that young people don't have conversations. If you've ever seen them all in line, like at Chipotle or wherever, they're all looking down on their phones. No one is talking to each other. It's very sad. I hope that they actually have better communication than what they appear to have. When I was in college, a phone would have been nice to take with me, but like I said, it was attached to the wall. It didn't go anywhere. It would have been nice, a nice safety feature, and it would have helped me directionally too. I got lost a lot. About 5 years ago or so, I broke down and decided to have a cell phone. I soon discovered that I was actually getting quite addicted to it myself because I dropped it in the lake. And I had actual separation anxiety from it. Plus I knew that I just lost all my contacts because of course no one memorizes a phone number anymore. You just hit somebody's name and it appears. So that was actually kind of a rude awakening for me to see that I was also becoming very dependent upon my phone. So I ended up taking over my husband's line instead, or his phone, and I did recover some of my contacts. Some of them I had to look up or find again. I also used it because I went back to school. I used it a lot to look things up. Maybe the meaning of a word or something that we were studying. And I know that as a teacher, because that's what I ended up going to school for, I'm going to have to figure out ways to keep kids off of their phones. I hope I can use positive reinforcement to do that, but to keep them off their phones in my classroom. And maybe I'll just have to keep class more interesting than their phone, which that's hard to compete with. There's games you can play on phones that I've discovered. That I like the word games, not the number games. Sometimes I actually have arguments with Siri on my phone because I think, even though I am directionally challenged, that she sometimes doesn't know what she's telling me to do and where she's directing me to go, because sometimes it's not even the same state. So Siri and I have arguments. I always win because I can just shut her right off again. I also noticed that people don't really enjoy their privacy as much today as they used to. I actually cherish my privacy. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't think people have to know what I'm doing 24/7. So phones have changed things a lot.